Welcome, everybody.
Hey, hey. Good boy, Tucker.
Work smarter where you want.
This is learning at its most fun.
Well, good afternoon, good morning. Hello, everyone. My name is Catherine Beltran, and I'm a trainer here at Redtail Technology. And today we're actually going to be exploring the mobile app. So for once, I'm actually not going to really share my desktop screen and go into the whole CRM, everything that's beautiful about it. We're actually going to go into about 1/8 the size of the screen and go on our actual mobile phone. So again, you're always going to have to bear with me. I did turn off all my notifications, so I'm hoping no one, bugs me at this time. But we are going to go ahead and deep dive with all things regarding this mobile app. Let me go ahead. Let me start sharing that screen. Let me get that going here for just a second. There we go. All right. So you get to see my little buddy here. That's Lou. But let's go ahead. I'm going to swipe up, and I already happen to have the mobile app open. I did want to take a minor step back because if anyone's sitting here going, wait, Catherine, I joined because I didn't even know we had a mobile app. Where you're going to want to start is actually within the App Store itself. So if you pull this open, you come on down to search, and you actually just go ahead and type in Redtail. You're going to see that CRM is going to pop up as that first option. Now, of course, I already have mine downloaded, but if you didn't, you'd see that get. If you're on an Android, it should be pretty much the same process, slightly different in terms of the screen kind of appearance, but same process nonetheless. Again, I'm going to just go ahead and close that out. I'm going to stick within the actual mobile app. And just like how we have our actual computer version, it's going to start with your today page. So again, it's going to answer that lovely question of what am I supposed to be doing today? So again, you're going to see any of those activities, and you're actually going to see the first activity that it has coming up for tomorrow. So it looks like we only have 2 things left in here. And just like we have with our activities again on our computer, you want to complete those. Now you can always click in. So if I just touch that right here, it's going to expand it, and you're going to see this little circle with a check mark. You're also going to see a pencil icon. You're going to see those 2 icons multiple times throughout today, so you're going to get very familiar with it. But just always know that circle with a check mark, that is your completion option. And then that lovely pencil icon, that is going to give you the option to edit it. Now, if we're kind of, again, used to being on our mobile app, there's things that we've kind of just gotten familiar with. You can always swipe to the left, and you can also get those same 2 icons. So again, you'll have that little green checkbox, you'll have that pencil. And then if I go ahead and I click that from here, we'll get that lovely little spinning and an activity completion pop up at the bottom of our page here. So again, that's going to give you anything you have going on today, and then the very first activity you have going on for the next upcoming day. Now at the bottom of the page, you actually do have 2 little circle icons. One's that little black quick add button. And if you click on that, this is actually where you can create an activity. So if you're like me, I will shamelessly admit this, where I just get so busy throughout the morning that I forget to do some things. And then as I go to heat up my lunch, I'll sit there and go, oh my gosh, I forgot to add it in. I always have my phone. I will quickly come in here, just start typing out what it is I'm worried about, when it's actually supposed to take place. And just like activities on, again, when you're looking at your computer, you have the ability to add the subject, the start date and time, end date and time, change the type of activity. Now, of course, this is going to be user specific, but it should match exactly what you have, again, when you're on your computer. So hold what you see here with a little bit of a grain of salt, I should say. This is from our training database. Yours might be different, and that's perfectly fine. If I come back, you're going to see that little arrow anytime you're in one. You also have that category. Just like type, this is going to be database specific. So again, you're going to be able to add it and apply the correct category you have. Again, I'll just click that little back arrow, and it'll take me back to my page here. You can also change the importance, priority, add in a location. So whether that's a physical location, maybe you're meeting someone for lunch somewhere, or if you're still heavily introduced into Zoom like we are, maybe you have that Zoom location you want to just come in here and paste. you can do that as well. And as we get to the bottom, you also have description. Now, I do want to point out, and I'll point it out a couple more times as well, whenever you're in a box that might have quite a few words that you have to type in there, you also will have this kind of little X or not exclamation, microphone icon at the bottom. Again, if you're on an Android, it might look a little bit different. You should still have that little option to maybe talk via Google or your Android based, or in my case here, Siri. If you click that, it'll start typing this as well. So if you're not really keen on typing, or if you're like me, where spelling's just not our thing some days, or you get a little fat fingered like I do, you can always, again, use that little microphone, talk into it like normal. And again, you can go ahead and go forward with that. Now, as we get to the last few things here, you're going to start to get options, not so much more of those free form texts. Linked contact, you click that plus sign. Again, you can link up a contact. I feel like that one's pretty obvious. But if you're lazy like me here, hey, no judgment. I'm not going to judge you at all on that. This is like me. I don't want to have to scroll to find it. I can always just search at the top here. So if I don't want to have to again scroll, I can just start typing out that person's name. I'll get anything that pops open. Again, start typing someone else. Again, anyone that meets, it's going to pop open. I just flick that little X. If I realize, whoops, nope, this doesn't need to be attached to anyone, again, you can click that little back arrow and it'll take you there. Attendees, just like it means in our, again, kind of computer page there, this is going to be who is this really responsible for? Is this something that's assigned to Tucker? Is this something that is assigned for myself? Is it for someone else on the team? Is it for multiple of us? So if it does in fact affect me, and it also maybe has to deal with, let's go ahead, let's add Daniel as well. I just literally click on the names. We'll get a little blue checkbox next to our names at there, and we're all going to show up at the top so we all get added in. Again, once you're done, you're going to see we're going to get into a little habit here. We're going to click that little back arrow again. We'll now see everyone that is in fact attached as an attendee. And then you get the last two optional sections as well. So when you click the recurrence, if this is an activity that is going to repeat, you have the same choices that you would, again, if you were looking at your regular desktop version. You'd have your daily, your weekly, your monthly, your annually, or every single weekday. Maybe we just need that in our life. Or you also have the option for custom. Now, if you click the custom option, it's going to take you to another page where you can then say, hey, what's the frequency? So again, you'll have that daily, weekly, monthly, annually. If you change it, that's when you're going to see, hey, how many months in between. Now, I do want to pause for a second here, only because we get this question frequently, even when we're looking at our regular kind of computer screen. Where in the world does this monthly on day 5 and monthly on the first Thursday come from? It's actually based on the start date that we have here. So I'm going to come back here. Again, we've got Thursday, August 5th. We happen to be on the first Thursday of the month, and the date is the 5th. So when I come back down here and I say every month on the 5th, again, it's relation to August 5th. And on that first Thursday, today is that first Thursday. So it's not coming out of nowhere. It's just based off of, again, that kind of start date that we have in. You also will get like a never ends option. So if you only need this to repeat until maybe the end of this year, you can set that end due date. Otherwise, it'll just keep going on and on and on into the future. Last but certainly not least, you will also have privacy options. So again, similar to what we would have when we're just working on our computer, you have the ability to limit who can see this physical activity. If you set it as everyone, everyone can see it. Usually that's what most people want. But if you tend to put some of your like personal things in here, like you're going to the doctor, maybe we don't want everyone to see that. You can click it and set it to, hey, just me. Or maybe we have kind of divisions within our database. I only want to see this for my team. You can again limit that ability. Now, I, of course, just went through all of those different options. You do not have to fill in every single one of these things. Same with if you're fine with the default choices that you have, you just click the save button at the top of the page. If it's more of like a task where it doesn't need to happen between the hours of 12 and 1, just click that little all day and it'll just set it as a, hey, sometime before the end of the day, get that done. Now, I'm not going to save this because this, of course, was just a little sample. I'm going to click cancel. But when you actually click cancel and you didn't save this as an option, it will prompt you to say, hey, are you really sure you want to leave this page? I am, of course, going to leave without saving, but if this is a legit activity, definitely review it. If you've made a change, of course, save it. Now, again, that's just that first page. There are multiple pages within the mobile app. I call it the hamburger. That was in English again, reverse. I call it the hamburger option. Some people just call them the 3 lines at the top. Some people call it the navigation menu. Again, this is going to be up to you, whatever your mind kind of takes you to. But it's going to be, again, that 3 lines at the top, my hamburger menu. We're going to click that and we're going to get similar again to when we're looking at the computer, a kind of left navigation menu. So again, we started on our today page. If I click into calendar, it's going to take me, shocker, to the calendar section. Again, it'll default on what you have going on today, but now I can also see everything I have going on for tomorrow. If I scroll on down, it'll start to take me again into next week. Now, if you're like me, though, sometimes we need to look backwards in time. We don't necessarily always need to look forward. Maybe we're looking for something. We're sitting here going, man, when did I meet with this person? You can always, right at the top here, you're going to see kind of like this little faint gray line. I'm going to actually click that and drag it, and it'll actually expand to the calendar monthly view, I should say. So again, if I needed to go backwards, maybe I'm sitting there going, I'm pretty sure I met with them on the 14th, or again, maybe I just need to look at the 14th of July. I can click on that day and it's actually going to take me again to that 14th of July. Now, again, you can always scroll forward, backwards, whatever is up to you. As long as you see that little blue dot, I know it's kind of small when you look at it on my screen here, that means there was an activity on that date. So if I looked at the 19th, there's nothing there. There was nothing going on that day. Apparently, it was very, very open on that Monday, the 19th. Just like we had on that today page, we have that big ol' almost charcoal color with that plus sign. If we click on down here, again, you get the option to create an activity from this page. Now, if we look at the bottom, again, if I click the today page, currently, again, I'm looking at July 19th. If I hit the today button at the bottom, it'll jump me all the way back into August 5th. If I wanted to limit what I'm really seeing, I can click that type and limit it to maybe I just want to see appointments, or I just want to see what I have as face-to-face meetings. Again, I have that choice here. I just click that box and it'll actually go ahead and limit it. Now, if I realized, whoops, again, maybe I just got a little crazy here. I didn't mean to click it. Little red X will always uncheck that box. I can again always go backwards. Users at the bottom, if you happen to need to book an activity that involves multiple attendees, you can always select this here. So maybe I have an activity that's going to involve Curtis. I'll come on down here. I'll click his name. If I scroll to the top, I'll see both of those names now. Again, I'll click that back arrow. I now see both what we have for Tucker as well as what we have for Curtis. So in here, if we look now on August 5th, there's actually a couple of activities that are specifically assigned to Curtis. You'll see that in this kind of faint gray in parentheses. And again, those are going to be involved for him. But now, if I needed to book something for us tomorrow at noon, I see we're both open. I can go ahead and do that from this page. Now, again, to remove it, you would just click back in, click that little red X in the circle, go back, and you're now again looking back at just your specific calendar. All right, moving forward, I'm going to just kind of work my way down this list. So again, I click what I call that hamburger menu, come on down to contacts, and you're going to get your contacts A through Z. Now, I will say really quickly here that you actually can change your default page here. So if you're looking at it and it defaults to favorites and you'd rather it not, we'll go over that because you can actually change that under preferences. But if you just, again, want that laundry list of everyone you have in your database, that is contacts A through Z. Just like I did with the previous, if I search up here, I could start typing out and I'll get that second here and I'll get those contacts. Now, I am actually going to go ahead and at this time click into good old Tim Taylor and I will get his contact information. Now, when you click on a contact record here, you actually do default to the contact card. If you draw your eyes to the very, very bottom of the phone here, you're going to see that little, it looks like almost like an ID card. that is again your contact. Now, if you click the red edit button at the top of the page here, this is where you can edit that phone number, that email, that address. So if you're looking at yours going, oh, I know that's not right, you can edit and again, save from here. I'll go ahead and I'll click cancel. Now, again, at the very bottom of the page, you're going to see what looks like a little kind of just like a bust up. If you click on that, that's actually your contact details. So just like with contact card, if you're looking at this going, no, Tim Taylor should actually be a AAA category, not a single A. Again, you can click on that edit. You can edit the name here. You can edit the suffix, nickname, designation, job title, all that good stuff. Category is the one I needed to update. He's supposed to be a AAA. I just clicked that. I click save. It's now been updated. And again, we'll get that little green. Green again, always to me is a positive. Green means go, contact updated. And now I'll see again, he is my AAA. So again, all of that information you can always edit with that red at the top. Make your change, click save, and then go ahead and you'll get redirected back to here. Now, if you come over to, again, I'm just going to stick at the bottom at this point. At the bottom, it looks like a calendar, and it really is. This is going to be your past due next 30. So again, kind of picture on the computer itself, you've got that past due next 30, and then right next to it, you had the latest notes. This should be the exact same, just kind of like in a list version. So if I am looking at something going, oh, I know for a fact I did that, again, I could swipe over, mark that as green. I now get activity completed. And again, I'm keeping myself up to date as much as I can. If I come over what looks like a little notepad, here's a hint, that is your notes. So a little bit different. Whereas again, that last one was your past due next 30. This is truly that notes tab on the left. So if you do have a pinned note at the top, you'll see that and it'll actually say that word pinned. So I'd recommend that if you use that and you don't want to get things lost in the shuffle, again, you have that option, just pin it and it'll look like this that you have here. And just like, again, if we're used to reading a newsletter on our phone or scrolling on Instagram or any big kind of media outlet you have, just bringing your literal physical finger up that will, of course, shift you down as you go. Now, if you click into it, you also will have like the option to add a comment. So if I click into this one, you'll see that little red with the number 1. If I click it, hey, there is an actual comment here. So with the mobile app, that is one little positive thing to me that I really like on the mobile app is that there is more of this usage of color. If anyone ever sees my literal calendar, they'll probably go a little insane just because I have everything color coordinated. That's why I personally love the mobile app is if there's something I need to see, we'll use that bright red to help draw our eyes to that particular scenario. But if I needed to add in again, maybe a new comment, I could just click into that. And again, I'll get my keyboard option as well as my talk to text microphone option that's built in on your actual phone. Again, just moving right over, we have that little circle with the exclamation point. That is our important information. And of course, this is always up to you. So this is going to be database specific, of course. But usually things that I'll see in here might be if they have a really difficult name to pronounce, you might see like pronunciations here. If someone gets extremely agitated, if you call them by like their first name and they go by a nickname, put that here. So again, it's anything that you find literally important that's helpful for you to know. You can always, again, add that into this information and view that from here. All right, and then that last little button at the bottom here, we've got those 3 little dots or ellipses, again, however you want to look at it. I'm going to click on that here and I actually get a menu option. So when I click on this and I click accounts, this is actually going to give me his individual portfolio balance in any account that's associated with him. Now, I did happen to scroll into Tim's record earlier today and he only has open accounts. So I actually do want to hop into a different record so that way I could see if I can find someone who has closed. Let's come on into Bruce Wayne. So I've got good old Batman here, Bruce Wayne. I'm going to again click on that little ellipses, come on up to accounts or the 3 dots again, whatever you want to look at. Again, this is going to be his specific portfolio balance. All of the open accounts will appear first. I keep scrolling, keep going. It's Bruce. He's got a lot. If I keep going here, finally, we'll get to some pending accounts. We'll also see those closed accounts. So again, you'll have everything that you normally could see from that accounts page for that specific person just by going again to that little 3 circle. Now, if you click into it, you'll also get those assets that you'll find underneath. So just always depends if you need more of a, hey, I just need to know a big number in my head. Perfect. Click on that. If you need a little bit more details, again, you can click further into any of those accounts that you see listed. Right below that, you'll also see any opportunities. I'm going to hold off on that one because we're going to actually do a deeper dive under the opportunities tab itself. Keywords, if you are again on the road, you can always quickly add someone with a brand new keyword. If they're also supposed to be, let's come on in here. Let's take a look. Maybe he's also celebrating. He's into Halloween all of a sudden. He's really into it. That's a keyword we have. Again, this is database specific. I can click on that. And just like when I added attendees for activities, I got that little blue check mark. Again, if I need to remove anything, I can always just click that big ol' red X that we have as an option. Now, whoops, wrong button here. If I come on back, tag groups actually looks borderline the exact same as keywords. And again, that's just to help us group those contacts that have something in common. And then again, you would just click on that tag group. So keywords and tag groups, definitely pay attention to that header. Otherwise, you might be looking at it feeling like you're losing your mind. Again, just take your time when you're looking at those. Now I'm going to go ahead. I am going to come on back. And again, if you have any favorites, click on that star in the bottom left corner. This is going to be unique to each individual users because your favorites is always dependent upon what you have labeled as a favorite. Again, contacts A through Z is contacts A through Z. So if I actually remove what I had searched at the top, again, it's going to default to starting with that letter A. If I click on that recently viewed, if I click on over here, this is just like, again, when we're looking at the computer, it's your last 12 contacts that you've been on. Now, if anyone is wondering how in the world do you save a contact as a favorite, maybe I don't want to have to scroll so much. I know I talk to Judge Phillips on a regular basis. I can click on him here and actually right at the top, just click that little star. He's now a favorite. Something else, and again, this is just a tip that I always like to throw out there. If you like to have a photo associated with someone, but you've been having this weird, like, how do I ask them to get a photo to get on my desktop? This just seems weird. I don't know how to appropriately approach it. You can also always click on if there's any dead space or the photo itself. If you click on that, you'll get at the bottom an option to take a photo or choose from a library. So if you just took it and went, oops, I didn't open the mobile app, well, you can always take it from there as well. And now you would have a photo associated with them. So sometimes I'll see people build that into more of like their onboarding meetings. Hey, you're now a new client of ours. Hey, boop, picture. Again, that's up to you. That's entirely optional. I've seen people take it with like their driver's license and just copy that photo in. But I know that's a nice little quick one that's a little less awkward and easier to approach with topics. Also, while I'm here, just a couple of things. If you do call frequently, maybe that's like really your thing. I just pick up the phone and just have that conversation. If you actually click on that little call box, it'll actually bring up the option to call from your phone at the bottom. Now, of course, I know that's a fake contact. I don't want to panic call someone. I'm just going to go ahead and cancel that out. But again, any of those blue at the top really will give you that option to go from there. Now that is pretty much the contacts option in a nutshell. Again, I'm just going to work my way down really what would be that left navigation menu. In this case here, the menu from the phone. And I'm going to talk about that opportunities that I held off. So opportunities over here, this will show you anything that you have open. So when you click on it here, you'll see, okay, I've got my next steps. I've got the stage. Again, something I personally love because I'm so just, I see a color and I know what that means. Anything that's past due is going to be that bright red. So with this close date, we had 2 years ago. Don't be us. I will just say that right now. But right below that, we have something that's actually closing this Friday. And as you can see, it's going to be more of a grayed out, dark black almost color. So from within this section, again, something a lot of people aren't aware of. When you click on this here, if there is a contact attached to the opportunity, like in this case, we actually have Corey Matthews, I can actually click on that name and it redirects me back to Corey's contact record. So if I'm looking at the opportunity going, oh, I forgot I'm supposed to call him 2 years later, don't be us. You can just click on his name, give that call, and again, now we can move that forward. You can also always click that little pencil, which again, I just got by clicking on really the title of the opportunity. I can click on that little pencil. And now if I realized, whoops, I did a typo, I'm supposed to say 2021, I can always come in here and fix that from here. So again, depending on what kind of version of the phone you have, might be a little bit different in terms of screen sizes, of course, but you should still have these options of all of these fields to edit. If you're not seeing these options, I will always say if you're ever getting an error, make sure you take a screenshot of it so that way we can be aware of it. We have obviously a variety of different phones that we use, and what might work on one maybe is acting up on another. So I'll point out where we can always submit some ideas as well. But again, if you ever run into something, you swear you're clicking into it and it's not working, let us know so we can always get that updated. But again, anything that you have here, just like with activities, just like with contacts, anything that's a little line, anything that's like almost in a box, you click it and it's now an option for you to add a value to. Again, if I just close this one out a little bit, just kind of minimize it, just like anything else, you'll scroll on through, you'll see again anything that's past due, anything that's coming up, all of that will be here right from this page. So you really do have all of those options. If you click that plus sign, you actually have the ability to create a new opportunity from this page. So again, if you're not really familiar with opportunities, I would recommend definitely do a deep dive on the computer itself. But tends to be that when we're using our mobile app, it's because we're on the go frequently. And one of those things might be meeting those potential prospects. Opportunity is that sales pipeline. So you can quickly say in here, hey, prospect, here's the amount, here's what I want to close it by. You'll have, again, all of those very similar functions, and you have that ability from here. Now, the one thing to also be aware of is that this stage will, of course, be specific to your database. I know I sound like a broken record, but always take what you have on my section a little bit different because again, yours is going to be specific to your database. So anything that you need to enter in, click save. Technically, the only thing that's really required here is to enter the name of the opportunity and whether really it's a new business or existing to save yourself that headache now, put the appropriate one. But of course, the rest of it's filling in with what we know. All right, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to again leave without saving. I didn't add anything, but of course, if you legit did make a change or added something, make sure you save it. And then we'll go ahead. I actually just realized I need to bring up one more thing. I'm sorry, we're going to go backwards for just a second. We're going to come back to contacts. Because when you are on a contact, when you're on the contacts A through Z here, or even on like this section here, you're going to get in the corner. I realized just click the wrong button. You're going to have this plus sign that'll allow you to add a new contact on the go. So again, you'll get that prompt first to say, hey, are you adding a person? Are you adding a business? You'll get that option. And again, once you're in here, it's going to be very, very similar to what we're used to. So we can add in that first and last name, any contact information that we have. Once we have it all, click that save button at the top or save contact at the bottom. And you now have a new contact that's what's in here. Same with, let me come back to recently view. I'm going to come back to good old Tim Taylor. There is again a plus sign at the bottom down here. If you click on that here, you actually get two options. The first one at the top there, that blue with the calendar, that's creating an activity. The benefit with this one, when you start from the contact record, is if I scroll down, it's going to automatically link up the contact you're on. So if I know it's already for Tim, I don't want to have to type that in. I can go to his record first, add in that activity, and again, save that activity. If I come back, the other option, kind of in this little peach orange color, however you want to look at that, that's actually the ability to add a note on the go. So just like if you're looking at the computer, you can add that category, you pick that function from here. And again, if you click that body, you will now get the option to type right into it, or just as similarly, use that microphone at the bottom and start talk to text. So again, you do have those two options. But again, if you're adding a contact that has a link, I might say just go quickly pull open that person. It might save you a few extra clicks, but you do have those two functions as well. All right, now we're going to move back on track. Sorry about that. We're going to come on down to seminars. And seminars is actually something not a lot of love has been given to the last really year and a half. But really, this is your event planning. So from within here, if I needed to know, hey, who's actually supposed to be coming, I can click on that where it says the actual attendees and guests, and I'll get this list right here. Over on the right-hand side where we're seeing this seminar invited, that's the actual status that we'll see in here. But we also do have a guest, and I want to scroll down until I find that, which I'm going to actually see right here. So if we're looking at Sharon Carter, it's about perfectly in the middle of my page here. On the far right-hand side, you should see a little tiny plus sign, and I'm going to click on that. When I click that plus sign, this will actually give you anyone that you added as a guest. Happens to turn out for this one, we didn't know the name of the guest here. We just knew she was bringing someone. So we actually just entered it as guest one. I'll show you a different example in here. Let me see if I can find it under this golf tournament. So actually right at the top here, we have Margaret Investor. I clicked on that plus sign. Looks like she's bringing Tony. So again, you have this ability to see really what's going on with this seminars. This is definitely one where it's more of a visual, just to kind of keep that in mind, but at least will get us aware that, hey, who are we expecting? What's that kind of rough estimate in terms of that number? All right, again, working my way down probably to the big kind of, I will say like the big kahuna on the mobile app here, and that's workflows. This was a very popular request that we had when we first rolled out this kind of updated mobile app. And this was really the first one I kept pushing for as well. And that was the ability to see our workflows from within here, to complete our workflows from within here. And you have that option. So when you click on that hamburger menu and come on over to workflows, it will default to the whole workflows page. Think of this as a comparison to when you click on the left navigation on the CRM and then scroll down to workflows at the bottom. It's that big picture, same image here. It's going to give you all of the open active workflows right now. If you're like me though, and again, while this is helpful, I'm not really in the position to say, okay, well, I need to know what my coworker's doing. Maybe again, that's not really you. Maybe you want to know what you're responsible for, what you can actually complete. My tasks up in the top right hand corner. So when you click on that, it just changes the page a little bit here. We now see everything that I am actually held accountable for. So just like activities, just like anything else, if you swipe to the left, you'll get that little green icon. Bam, workflow task completed. If I click in here and I go, oh, no, I need to make an edit to it here. It's not send the final pay, it's send final pay reminder. I can just type that in here, update that task, and save it. This is going to be real time. I do want to point that out because if I happen to update something and the next step opens up and it's for someone else, that other person will also now get that open. So it's not going to be this whole, ooh, complete it 24 hours later, you're finally seeing it. No. It's instantaneous that you should be able to go to the CRM, refresh the page, and you'll have anything else that's supposed to be open. Something else that I know always is like well, does it do this, Catherine? Right up here at the top, if I actually go ahead, again, I just swiped on over to my left, I clicked that green. This is the last task for this particular step. And with this one particular workflow in this step, I have an outcome where it's saying, hey, this could go one of four ways. If I go ahead and I say, hey, we confirmed it, we're all done here, either A, the client cancels, I'm now done with this workflow because we don't need to move forward and say we've had the meeting. That doesn't make sense. Or hey, the client reschedules. I need to reconfirm the new date that we have. Or I left the message and we're trying again here. Or yay, the positive, the meeting's confirmed. Again, these are outcomes that were built in on the workflow. I will say you cannot build workflows on the mobile app, nor will you really want to. That's a very small screen to work on. But again, this can push you in the direction it's supposed to go. Now, I'm going to say we had a positive thing. Meeting has been confirmed. I set this up here. Again, if there's any notes, I can always come in here and say, let's say, called and we are good to go, period. Perfect. I just clicked back into it. I literally, again, just said that sentence. I'm done. I'm going to click that complete step. It's now no longer part of my tasks. Now, just as again, our little reminder, if that step is now closed and there is another step that's going to open up, and you're responsible for it, maybe just do a quick little swipe down. You'll get that little refresh icon going in, because then you might have new tasks that you're now responsible for, which we do actually right at the top. That's the other couple steps. I know that just because I do this one so frequently, but these ones aren't due till Friday. So we're back on top of things. But again, you can always just come in here. You can click on that. You'll get that little icon again to complete it. Or if you'd prefer, you just swipe and complete it, or again, edit it if you need to. But this will really help you stay on top of things. Again, if I just walk down the hallway to refresh some water really quick, I'll pull open my phone just to make sure I'm not completely losing my mind today. And that's really where this comes into play. So really mess around with this, really have fun, get creative, even do a test one if you really just want to see what this looks like. But again, this is going to keep you on top of your workflows. Now, last few things, because I know this feels like a lot to take in. Last few things, the first one here, settings and preferences. I know I said earlier, hey, if you don't want your default contact screen to go to favorites, or maybe you'd rather go to the recently viewed. If we look almost towards the bottom, not so much where it says the version, that just tells you what version you're on, but where it says contact management, if you click that default screen, you have the choice. So if I wanted mine to be recently viewed, mine's now, when I click on contacts, going to have that option where it's going to go to recently viewed. Now, this is something that I would recommend log out, log back in, just so it kind of refreshes those settings. But again, that is up to you. You get to pick whatever you want. Same with under the activity management. So kind of that perfectly in the middle of the screen right now, you have the option to show completed activities. So again, if you're like me, you need to know what's actually been done, just quickly looking at it, that's again up to you. If you want to show include the gaps on today, again, just to give you a little bit of a breathing room, maybe it just helps us visually look at things. And the last but not least, you have the ability of changing that gap in between. So if you like to see things maybe 30 minutes, a little bit larger in that spacing, again, make it less painful on your eyes. We only get one set. That's where this comes into play. Now, the last real option, because I will give you a hint here, log out is going to log you out. Pretty self-explanatory. But the contact us. Now, this, of course, it does have a couple of blue hyperlinks. So if I click again on that phone number, it'll again give me that option to call from here. But one that I'd really love, just because I'm a big fan of trying to implement as many user requests as physically possible, submit an idea. Obviously, we don't know where to take the mobile app. If you only get my opinion, it's always going to be tailored to me. We want to hear your opinions. So if you click on that feedback and you click on submit an idea, it's going to bring open my browser and I can now give a suggestion. So if you're sitting here going, man, I really would love to do this, or I would rather see this, or again, anything that you'd prefer, you have this option to come in here and see that. Now you can always come in here and suggest a new idea. If you scroll on down, you can vote on ideas. So if you're sitting here going, ooh, I would also like the ability to sort and filter opportunities in the mobile app, give it a little vote. So that way we know, hey, we're not on a lonely island here giving these ideas. But again, you have these different choices in here. Obviously, some of these have already been rolled out. So if it's just like a secondary edition that you don't see, of course, I'm going to say give that suggestion so we can hear from you.
Thanks so much for joining us today for this particular session. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to give us a call at 800-206-5030, option 3 for support, or just shoot us an email over to support@redtailtechnology.com. Thanks a lot and have a great day.